Good morning, good evening und guten Tag, Croeso und willkommen to Flexy Fridays, your weekly roundup of the world of music as we perceive it to be here in sunny Wrexham. But again, we are not in Wrexham this week, we are here in Chester, right back out the back of the saddle in G21, and we are joined today by Billie Stansbury-Jones, the man with a voice that is very loud. How are you doing, Billy?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm super kind of excited to be on the show.
Well, I'm very excited to have you on here as well. So before we get into talking about the music, how was your new year? Did you get up to anything?
Well, yeah, I've gone straight into it with the open mics. I've gone straight into it, Alexander's, and had a gig on Sunday, so I've just dived straight in there already.
So
Basically, yeah.
Really no hesitation to get back involved with the music scene in Chester right now.
Not at all, yeah.
I like to see that, the passion, the dedication. So, do you have any New Year's resolutions that you are carrying through with you into 2022?
Just trying to get a balance of, just being a bit chilled when I'm not on stage, and then when I'm on stage, I can just do whatever. That's just kind of the freedom. I've got the freedom there to possess any kind of emotion because that's your slot, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you really gonna?
So I suppose in a way, just balance things out.
Yeah,
Essentially.
man, and own this year
Yeah.
with originality. So let's talk about music now. How did you first come to get involved with performing music?
I don't know how many people are going to say the reason why I did. It was a long time ago, through the use of the game I'm sure many people have played, Guitar Hero. I'm sure a lot of people have played that game.
I actually can't believe no one's mentioned that as an influence yet, because
They haven't on the show.
never, but we were
okay.
all influenced by Guitar Hero,
Yeah.
I think, anyway.
Because
yeah.
I was a gamer and I liked playing on the PlayStation, and it was one of the demos, and I just gave it a go, and so I got hooked on it. Spent like the early hours of mornings playing it, and then from there I think
Yeah, man, no, that reminds me of my youth, to be fair. So I think I have to ask, based on that, what was your favourite song to play on Guitar Hero?
I don't know if I have a favourite, but I got to a point where I could play every single song on Expert apart from the obvious one, Through the Fire and Flames. It was the only one that eluded me on that game. Could play all the others on Expert because I just spent a lot of time playing it because, I get quite competitive and I just wanted to learn all of them, so I almost got to a stage where I could play every single one. But
Yeah.
I was quite happy with my ability that I got on that game.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I'll be real with you right now. I could never get above easy.
I found it funny, like how people, like before they playing it, they would say, "Oh, it's just a plastic guitar," but then if they go on it, they would get wound. They might get wound up at not being able to play a song or something.
Yeah, you can get proper into that game. I was always stuck on easy. As soon as it was like, right, incorporate your little finger, I had to give up. I couldn't do it. But yeah, before I forget, Slipknot. That was my favourite tune off that game. I'm actually so glad you brought that up. That's a nice little memory right there. So, who would you consider to be some of your biggest influences in the music scene?
It depends what time frame. Like, are we talking now or are we talking from the beginning?
Well, I'm interested to hear it all, Billy. I mean, we could let's say that. So let's say who influenced you in the beginning and who is one now.
Okay,
Let's do both.
So in the beginning, it was a band I'm sure everybody knows, the band Green Day. So that was my influence at the age of about 12. I just started listening to them. Well, I was playing Guitar Hero, and then I got like an MP4, because this is years ago. This is like 2009. I got an MP4 player, if people remember them. And I just put a selection of songs, and then with Green Day, I just started listening to them, and then I started listening to loads of their songs, and for a number of years that was my favourite band. And then I went to see them live in 2009. That was my first gig. So that was my first influence, I would say.
Nice one. Love a bit of Green Day, to be
Yeah.
fair. Okay, so what about the more current influences?
Current influences are, well, I think everybody knows, if you know me, my current huge influence for the past few years has been a band called Faith No More, which they have the singer Mike Patton. If people aren't aware, he did have, and if he still has, but in his prime, he had the biggest vocal range in popular music. And I just think that their music is very diverse. You can't pinpoint a specific genre on them, and I think if you haven't given them a proper listen, then I'd say that you should.
100%. I think the creative potential and just the things that Mike Patton dabbles with to create the sounds he comes up with, that is really very interesting. I think one Mike Patton project that I really like was Mr. Bungle.
Yeah.
They were actually a big influence on Slipknot.
Yeah. With the masks, I would say that if you take Faith No More out of the equation, they are the next most popular band, I would say, which is quite, I suppose, surprising, because they could be potentially, some would say, they're the weirdest project.
That's why I love them, because they're so just out there. But yeah, man, big respect for Mike Patton. So when you perform, I've seen you performing here at the open mics. You sing and you play guitar. So I think one question I would like to know the answer to is, what did you start doing first? Were you a singer or a guitarist?
I think I can remember being really young and just singing when I wasn't around anybody. But I think in terms of properly doing something first, it was the guitar. Obviously, from, as I've said before in this interview about Guitar Hero, that made me pick up an actual real guitar, and I was started learning some of the Green Day songs, because that was my favourite band at the age of 12. So I was learning songs I think the first song that I probably learned was a song called Brain Stew by Green Day, because I think that's their easiest song that they've got in their catalogue. So I was playing guitar when I started playing out, and I was singing, but the singing wasn't really, it was something that in the beginning I was quite shy about. I had quite a quiet voice. People were telling me they enjoyed, watching me play. They were saying, just be a bit louder on the microphone. And then obviously in the current moment, I'm the opposite. Perhaps some would say too loud.
No, you definitely do. You've got the volume right there.
Yeah.
I always know when I come in here, I know if you're on, because you've got a distinct voice, and you know how to project.
I think it all entirely it depends on the system in a venue, because if the system is, if it's got a lot of reverb on the system, which I've experienced a few times, and I love reverb, I don't have to shout as loud, because you can have the natural tools and the ability that you've got, but you still, even if you are one of the most incredible singers, I'm trying to think of another example, but if you are one of the most incredible singers, you still need super great equipment, I think, to go along with your own ability.
Yeah. Well, that definitely does. That does come into it. I think
you need that perfect combination of stuff.
But yeah, no. The right gear can definitely sort of make and break a performance sometimes. So one thing I would like to ask, based on the performances I have seen, you certainly play a lot of Faith No More.
Yeah.
But can I ask, what are your favourite songs to cover when you come to do an open mic night, like the one in the Saddle or the one that happens at Alexander's?
I've enjoyed. I don't know if it just went this way. I've enjoyed playing songs like "Don't Dream It's Over" by Crowded House. I get that there's some audience that want to hear songs that they know, so I'm trying to like find a balance where it's a song that people know, but I actually don't mind playing it, because there's a lot of songs that a general audience want to hear, but I don't want to play them. So I found that balance with a song like that, and then another song, I suppose, like Wicked Game. Songs like that, people know, and I don't mind playing them because I don't mind those songs.
Yeah. And would you ever play Wonderwall to please an audience?
I would have done. Well, I would have actually done that without the audience asking a long time ago, like, I don't know, about almost a decade ago. But now I would probably have to just turn that request down, unfortunately.
Okay, so we've talked about a few songs that you like to cover and songs that have influenced you. Can I ask, do you work on your own original compositions?
It's gone in different directions. So when I started writing, I would say I was about 16. They were all of these songs. I was just writing them, like there'd be like a few in a week or something, but they weren't really strong songs. They were songs that would pass, but they weren't like memorable songs. So now, like, it's quite there's bigger gaps in between my own original material, but I think that they're stronger. They're a lot stronger than some of the ones I was doing when I was about 16.
Yeah. So it's something that you've continued to work on in your own time, I suppose.
I think with me, if I try like too hard trying to write a song, it doesn't happen. They just happen unexpectedly. That's kind of how I'm going about that at the moment.
Yeah, you can't force creativity to just come up whenever you need it, you know.
No,
You have to give it that time. So yeah, I think, so one thing I would really like to get your opinion on is, well, the very first time that I met you, the way you introduced yourself, you said, "Hi, I'm Billy, I'm autistic." So one thing I wanted to ask is, does your autism affect your music in any way?
I think having autism and playing music, it can in some ways be beneficiary, because you get like I don't know, I was going to say, I don't know if attached, that word would have any sense in answering to the question, but you'd spend a lot of time. There could be something that isn't music. If you are autistic, you spend a lot of time on one particular thing. So if there's something that you've got some kind of natural ability, because I wouldn't say all aspects of music I've been hooked on, but so like my singing, I've spent a lot of time like trying to get better and better, and I've never been really satisfied. Even though I've gotten better, I've never been totally satisfied. I've always wanted to try and get better with the singing, and I don't know, that could be the autism. So I suppose, yeah, it's positive in the fact that I want to keep reaching a higher level vocally.
Well, honestly,
Yeah.
like hearing that, I mean, that is the professional approach to making music. A professional knows there's always more to learn. There's always room to improve.
There could be, I mean, I could be wrong, but there could be some people that are just are satisfied, and then they just stop progressing, perhaps, and they don't want they're happy at the level. I don't know.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
So would you say that autism helps you to stay focused when you are in a creative headspace?
I don't. It's weird because it kind of, I think it's one of the things where I actually at times I feel a bit more normal doing the music, playing it in an open mic audience, and then when there isn't an open mic, I don't really feel that normal. I feel a bit weird.
Yeah.
I feel like I can kind of fit in with the people, everybody there, whether they are autistic or they aren't. So, I mean, if there wasn't a music, I don't know if there wasn't any music, so I don't know, how I'd go about, the daily life of being autistic.
Yeah. No, I think music has a massive impact on people's ability to cope with just day-to-day life a lot of the time. But something else you mentioned before we started this interview was dyspraxia, which you
Yeah.
also have. So how does that does that affect your music at all?
Well, I get a lot of confused people saying, "Oh, but you can play guitar." But I do. I joke about. I know I can actually play guitar, but I do joke and say, "Well, I can't play guitar." I say I joke and I say I can't play guitar, but I can play guitar a bit. If I'm being real about that situation, I can play guitar, but I can't play anything really technical. I've tried, in my spare time, but I don't know, fingers. You've got it's sort of coordination it is within your hands, but it can also get into your brain a bit. So you could say things at the wrong time and you wouldn't have any awareness, perhaps. I think that has happened a few times when I've played live. I've started a song when I've been playing live, and I wasn't supposed to. I wasn't planning on playing that song, but then I've just played the song anyway. So it can, in some ways, impact on the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I certainly think after seeing you perform myself, and I think our audience will agree when they see the footage we've got of you performing. Like, there's no noticeable hindrance. Like, if anything, you're excelling in what you're doing musically. But yeah, I think that's just something that's a dialogue that I do think should be open right now, because I think a lot of people don't really. When going back to autism, I think so many people don't really understand what autism is. So I think it's important to discuss it and discuss how it impacts
It's
the individual.
it's kind of like always needing to use a sat nav, I think.
You think?
Yeah. Well, with me, because I think autism, what people have got to understand it isn't an illness, because everybody that is autistic is different in their own way, just like somebody that isn't autistic is different in their own way. But the way my autism is, it's just I always got to, like, in a daily situation and in life, I've always got to try and think about, every situation that's staring right in front of me. I've got to, like, overthink it. Whilst some other people, perhaps they'll just do things, just naturally. So, it can get up in your head. It can get quite stressful.
Yeah. So even like a simple task that one person might do without thinking, to you,
Just like interacting with somebody, speaking with them.
it takes a
Sometimes
lot
it
more
can be-
sort of inner
You don't know
dialogue.
you don't know how to approach it sometimes. You don't know if you're gonna be, you're gonna approach things in like a cool kind of way.
Yeah.
You don't know whether you're gonna be bothering somebody, stuff like that.
Yeah. No. Well. No. That makes sense to me. And yeah, I do just think that is an important thing that should be discussed more openly
I
these
think people
days.
do get confused with some like emotions that, there's been a few times if I've been on my own, somebody I won't know will say, "Why are you, why are you sad?" And I'll be like, "No, I'm feeling fine. I don't know why I'm giving off that vibe with other people,
Yeah.
but I've had that a few times.
Yeah. I know. I think yeah, it is just it's something that people don't know about unless you've got autism or you know someone that's got it. It's really hard to understand how diverse the effects can be on a person.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's get back onto the topic of music and what the future has in store for Billy right here. So, what are your plans in 2022? What are you hoping to do with your music this year?
Hopefully, if all things are smooth, I can release and record some of the new tracks that I've got, and I've been playing live at open mics. I just need to find somebody that I can record with.
Yeah.
I've done recordings in the past, and I am overdue on them. Hopefully, I can get a few more gigs here, perhaps.
Yeah.
I've been contemplating it in my head about busking equipment, but how do I get it back from, on my transport into Chester, on my transport back where I am, where I live. So there's a few things that I've potentially got planned.
Yeah. Now that's exciting stuff. And are these songs you're hoping to record and release? Are these your original songs? Yeah.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I'm certainly looking forward to hearing these. And yeah, hopefully, let's keep our fingers crossed that maybe getting you out here on the podcast will lead to you finding someone that can record and produce your music. If that's what you're hoping for.
If anybody's watching this interview that does that, then
get on Billy.
Yeah.
If you need an opportunity to record someone, this is the guy. But yeah, no, that is exciting stuff. And I think as we are on the topic of your music right now, well, I think now would be a perfect time to hear yourself performing. So we've got a recording here of a couple of covers that you did for us. And well, yeah, unless you have any issues, let's get them out there for the audience to hear.
Yeah.
Nice one. So this right here is Billy on stage at the Saddle in G21 performing a couple of covers for your exclusive enjoyment right here on Flexy Fridays. So take it away, Billy. I hope you all enjoy this.
Want to know it's me, it's on my head. I'll point the picture at me, it's on my head. Give yourself to me and I'll be closer. Smile. You shot the more, it's on my head. I'll let you even score, it's on my head. I'll pick you up from the floor, it's on my head. Smile. To me and I'll be closer. I see you. could be my unintended choice to live my life extended. You could be Lord, always love. You could be the one who listens to my deepest inquisitions. You could be Lord, always love. I'll be there as soon as I can, but I'm busy mending all the pieces of life I had before. First, there was the one who challenged all my dreams and all my balance. She could never be as good as you. You could be my unintended choice to live my life extended. You could be Lord, always love. I'll be there as soon as I can, but I'm busy mending pieces of life I had before. I'll be there as soon as I can, but I'm busy mending all the pieces of life I had before.
That right there was Billie Stansbury-Jones performing. What were the songs you just performed there?
Ashes to Ashes by Faith No More and Unintended by Muse.
Ashes to Ashes by Faith No More and Unintended by Muse. Some fabulous renditions of those tunes right there. I really enjoyed recording that. I'm just always blown away by your ability to project vocally. Like, really, you don't even need a microphone, bro.
I've always found a fascination with singers of a high ability.
Yeah.
I remember like watching people play. I'll do a shout out to somebody. There was a guy called Ashley Sherlock, who, when I was starting out on the open mic scene a long time ago, you're talking almost 5 years ago, I think, like, because there'd been people before him that had said, I could be louder, but I think of all the people, in my opinion, I think he was the one that perhaps believed the most out of all of the people that I could be louder. And then, you know, watching him like do his thing vocally at somewhere like Telford's, this was the peak of open mics really, because it was bank holiday, I'd say about 2017. The place was just rammed, and there was all the people, and they were just like he was like nailing it on stage, and nobody else was really had an interest. But I was like, this is great. I love like people that can, you know, sing of a high ability. And then I started listening to bands with singers that had a high ability, and then from there on in, I've just sort of like I've used all of the time that I've possibly had around me when nobody's there. My head was just like, I can try these things out that I'm not sure about, because if I screw it up, nobody is in this building where I'm practicing. And sure enough, so there were some things I wasn't expecting to do vocally in some of these practices that I got, and then I took that to a live stage, and I've just carried on and built it up, really. Yeah.
No, it's wonderful to see the progression happening. So, for our audience members that may want to stay up to date on what you have going on, especially these releases that we hope will be out by the end of 2022, where can people stay up to date on what you have going on online?
I have a SoundCloud. There will be some releases on there soon, because it's been a while since there's been some releases. But there's some of my own songs on there. They were recorded by some people watching this might know a guy called Reese Ruffley. He's been around on the Chester scene. He helped me record those songs, and he did a great job on them. So they would be, if you want to hear my stuff, you can listen to them. The only thing I'll say is my voice has changed a bit since then, but I have plans to put some more stuff out on SoundCloud.
Awesome. So what is your name on SoundCloud?
It's just my name, Billie Stansbury-Jones. You'll see a picture of me in the display icon.
Yeah.
And a few of my tracks on there.
Nice one. I will be sure to link that in the description to the video so people can stay up to date with yourself. Now, before we disappear out of this very cold room right now, because I am starting to shiver, do you have any words that you would like to leave with the fans of yourself and the viewers of Flexy Records? Do you have a message you would like to leave with them before we end this interview?
Just go to an open mic if you want. I think everybody here is very supportive, so if you've got doubts, just get rid of those doubts and play at an open mic. Or if you want to watch, you know, go and watch, because, you know, you'd be at home otherwise. You know, get out there and watch people play, because they thrive off audience. Yeah, Bernie hosts this every Wednesday, and then there's Alexander's on a Tuesday with a rotational host. But yeah.
So support local music, support the open mic scene, because honestly, musicians are nothing without the people to listen to the sounds. You know, if a tree falls in a forest and no one's there to hear it, did it make a sound? If a guitarist strums their strings and no one there's to listen, what's the point? No, my genuine message to that is support that audiences give musicians is so important these days. So yeah, do what Billy says. Get down to the open mics, even if you're not playing. Just go to watch.
We need them. We need kind of something. Well, we won't ever get something similar because of everything that's gone on, but we need similar levels to when I started playing open mics in Chester. I'd say about 5 years ago now. There was just so many, you know, in terms of an audience, there was a lot of audience, and it just kind of, after a few months, it peaked. Open mics have been quite quiet, So we need sort of a bigger sort of audience to thrive off. I think. Yeah.
And there is no shortage of these events. I was just on Facebook yesterday and saw a post for an open mic for every day of the week happening in like the Cheshire Northwest region. So if you do enjoy like hearing some variety in the music when you go on a night out, like an open mic is really the place to be, because it's got a mishmash of so many different styles and influences being performed. So yeah, get down to an open mic. If you've never been to one as well, then what are you even waiting for? It's a really good time. It's an excuse for a drink with a very varying degree of sounds being played in the background. Yeah, it's a good time. And yeah, local and live music, we need as much support as we can get following the past couple of years. So, thank you so much, Billy, for joining us on the show. I really hope you have enjoyed it. Of course, the biggest thanks goes out to the audience, the people taking the time out of their day to watch this podcast right here. I sincerely hope you are enjoying what we are putting out there. And if you or someone you know is a musician, an artist, a performer, someone with something creative to promote, do not shy away from getting in touch with Flexy Records, because we are always looking for people to get involved with what we have going on. This show would be nothing without the guests that we get on it. So yeah, if anyone, yourself or anyone you know, would benefit from an interview like this, please do not hesitate to get in touch. We are all about promoting the lesser known acts, the people that deserve more recognition. And with that, I shall leave you to whatever you're doing with the rest of your day. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. You know how to follow Flexy Records. We've got the link tree in the description. And the link to Billy's SoundCloud will also be on there. Be sure to show him as much support as you can muster. And yeah, many thanks. Take care and ciao for now.